Welcome to this video lecture on Microsoft Visio. This lecture will discuss adding shapes to the page, layout on the page, and using the align and position functions. Once you are in Microsoft Visio, to add shapes to the page, the easiest thing is once you have your template open and the shapes stencil is showing the shapes you've selected for this template, click one of those and drag it over and let go. Now you can see I currently have 4 of these vacancy belt shapes on my screen. How do I want them to look? Let's go back to page, fit to window from page width so you can get a better overview. Here is my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper laid out in landscape. Org charts normally are built from landscape view. Most org charts start with one position at the top that is the top position in the department or the company, depending on what type of org chart you're doing, and we usually place it in the top of the screen in the middle. I have on here on my view ribbon, you can see I have ruler checked and grid checked. That allows me to better center things. And let me zoom in a little bit more. Let's switch back to fit to window, page width. And you can see now, here are my little grayed out grid marks behind. When I scroll up, you can see I placed that resize handle on that top box right here at 5.5 inches. My next level of responsibility shapes, I would like to line up in a row across, appropriately spaced below that top level. Maybe these are my vice president level positions. So I'm going to spread them out here. Most people would normally start by laying out each of the ones on the far edge as close to the edge as they can get and possibly the same distance from the edge. I don't use that method because of how I place my subordinate positions that report to each one. I like to place those just to the right of the box, and so I drag them down here, and that makes me want to put my position here, I'm going to call my second row the vice president positions. Makes me want to put them indented a little here so that I can still get this one on the screen. Now, I have 3 right here, vice presidents, underneath this top position. Because I'm not trying to center these 3 evenly on the page, I don't worry about whether the middle one is directly below the top position, or in this case, the CEO. So I'm simply going to lasso those 3, which I do by clicking outside of each end and each part of the shape and dragging through the others that I want to lasso in and letting go. Now I'm going to go back to my home ribbon and I'm going to use that align and position function. Over here in the arrange group I have the align and I have position. I can use align to make sure they're all truly lined up. So I'll select align to top and then all 3 of them are definitely aligned where the top of each of those boxes is exactly even. Next, I'm going to go to position, and I can either distribute horizontally, distribute vertically, but you can see when I distribute horizontally, it is distributing evenly across the page within the confines of where the leftmost shape in the lasso group is and the rightmost shape. So I want to do that. If I had things stacked on top of each other in a column, I would use distribute vertically. Now I've got even space here. So I'm going to just start by putting in CEO here. We'll call this Vice President or VP1, VP2 over here, and so on. Below that are my reporting positions. So let's go back, change our view back where we are fit to window so we can see the entire page. Now, when I select one of these, this white middle point is where I can build a connection line. I want to build a line that goes from this shape's middle side to the bottom, and so on. But I probably will normally have multiples who report to somebody. So I'll put on a few more boxes for us to worry about getting the layout. When you're working in Visio, part of your layout is how does my diagram look on the page? Have I spaced things well? Easy way to tell is I'm going to go to print preview, so file, print, and now you can see this looks a little bit lopsided. Everything's kind of shoved up against the right border, kind of towards the bottom. My spacing's a little off. Adjusting the layout in Visio is a lot visual. You need to see what looks well and is properly balanced. So you kind of switch back and forth. So I might move all of these up closer to the CEO position so that I have more space. Maybe that's too close, and here I'm just nudging, selecting my group by lasso and then using the arrow keys to nudge them around, and perhaps I want to move them in a little bit so that my white space on the left of my page and the right side of the page are more even with the boxes that are closest to. Within each group, I now need to arrange those. So I'm going to align these to the left. Then I'm also going to vertically distribute. I'm going to do the same thing with this group. So align to the left, vertically distribute, and same here. Oops, past my alignment. And vertically distribute. So now they're vertically distributed. But here's the thing I didn't take into consideration when doing that. Are these all lined up correctly? So I want to make sure that these are lined to the top. They looked like they were. When I lasso this next layer, I can see that these are not. I'm going to actually align those to the bottom because one in the middle seemed to be too close. And then here, I'm going to also align to the bottom. Now when I look at that, I'm going to go ahead and look at it in print preview. You can see it looks a little better. It's not final. I've still got a lot of work to do on the drawing. But that gives you a better idea of some of the things you can do with laying out your shapes, adding them to the page, and aligning and positioning them. Please watch for future lectures.